The Nigerian government and organized labor are currently locked in a meeting at the Chief of Staff's conference room in the presidential villa, Abuja. The meeting is to brief the representatives of the federal government on the resolutions reached by the organs of the two labor unions, the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. These will include labor's final decision on the concessions and offers the federal government made to the workers during their meeting yesterday, Sunday. Recall that President Bola Tinubu had on Sunday evening succumbed to the 35,000 naira provisional wage increment demand by labor after his initial 25,000 naira approval for the average low-grade worker to run for 6 months was rejected. Well, joining us to further discuss this is Taiwo Olopade. He is a political strategist and broadcast journalist. Taiwo, thank you very much for joining us. What is your assessment of the impact of labor strikes on the economic and political landscape in Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Whether we like it or not, strike or protest, as the case may be, by the labor union, that's the NLC and TUC, is legitimate under our constitution, so long it does not cause breakdown of law and order in the society. And most times, strike is seen as the last resort from the labor union, be it NLC and the TUC, that's the Trade Union Congress. So, I came up with a write-up which says, can Nigeria survive another round of shutdown? And this came to my mind because looking back into what has been the consequential effects of the past strike in the country, you will see that even the powerful political office holders do not really suffer from any strike action or protest embarked upon by the labor unions. I can make reference to the last ASU strike in Nigeria, which lasted for about 9 months. The Minister for Labor and Employment then, Dr. Chris Ngige, he was in the office till the last day of the administration of President Muhammad Buhari, despite the fact that ASU and some Nigerians demanded that he should resign honorably or be sacked by President Muhammad Buhari. He didn't resign from office. But what did we get at the end of the day? The government applied the doctrine of no work, no pay, and for that reason, for the period the ASU members were on strike, they were not paid, and that also almost caused another a distortion in the nation's educational sector. So my point of view is, I'm not saying that the NLC or the TUC does not have the right to go on strike, but I'm saying emphatically that from investigation and report from the last strike action, it is ordinary masses, the poor, the poorest among the poor, that suffers from the strike action or the protest by the Nigerian Labour Congress and their other counterpart, the Trade Union Congress. So I'm saying that labor union can also consider what will become of the ordinary Nigerians before embarking on any strike. Okay. I know they are fighting for the masses, no doubt about that. But the masses they are fighting for are always at the receiving end of whatever strike or protest embarked upon by the labor unions.
Well, Taiwo, given the recent negotiations about wage salaries and also concessions by the federal government from 25,000 to 35,000 as labor requested for, what advice do you have for policymakers in Nigeria to ensure a balanced approach that addresses both labor's demands and also economic concerns like we're seeing play out in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you very much. The question is, how did we arrive here? We arrived at this point in our nationhood from May 29th, 2023, after that popular pronouncement by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that the subsidy is gone. Since then, we have been experiencing a distortion in our socio-economic life, and the president has done one thing that is highly commendable. You recall that initially the president wanted to go the way of 8,000 naira transfer to the vulnerable, the poorest among the poor Nigerians. But we Nigerians and even the media, we criticize that option because we said we do not have a social register that is up to date and that we can rely on to reach across to those who are very much in need. So for that reason, the president decided to call a meeting of the state governors. And when they had that meeting, a decision was made. And you and I know that at the moment,
All right.
The 36 state governors and even the FCT have received about 2 billion naira each from the federal government. So that shows this government is a listening government.
Okay,
so coming back to
Taiwo, we have to leave it at that. Yes, I'm so sorry we have to leave it at that because of the want of time. But we want to thank you for your analysis. We'll keep monitoring the developments. We heard some news coming from that meeting at Aso Rock Villa between organized labor and the federal government. Taiwo Olopade, thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thanks so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
Okay.